So the news just in is that the National Council of States has approved the appointment of a new INEC chairman for Nigeria. National Council of State is made up of the president, the vice president, all former presidents of Nigeria, all former heads of state of Nigeria that are still alive, all governors, president of the Senate, speaker of the House of Representatives, all these people, they have sat today in Abuja and they have given approval for the appointment of a new INEC chairman. And that was broken like 1 or 2 hours ago by the spokesperson to the president, Bayo Ononuga. He has published it on his Twitter handle, X handle. Okay, he said National Council of State unanimously approves appointment of Professor Amopiton as INEC chairman. The National Council of State has approved the nomination of Professor Joash Ojo Amopiton, Senior Advocate of Nigeria from the North Central, as the new chairman of INEC. Now, who is he? Okay, what's his track record? What do we expect from him? And I ask, how light is this burden on his shoulders? How light is the burden? Can we call it a very light burden? And all of that. So we look at it. This is Professor Joash Amopiton. He was born in 1957. He is from Ijumu local government area of Kogi State in north central Nigeria. He is a lawyer by profession. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria and he's a professor of law. He lectures law in the University of Jos. This is a gentleman, okay, that has just been appointed. Has been nominated as an lecturer. This is him roped in his regalia as a lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria. I have said that he's a senior advocate of Nigeria and has been a senior advocate of Nigeria since 2014. So he's about 11 years now as a senior advocate of Nigeria. We'll get to know more about him. Now, Professor Amopiton is a professor of law at the University of Jos, Plateau State. He's also an alumnus of that institution. He had his first degree in that institution. He had his master's in law in that institution and his PhD in law. We get to know more about that. Now, he specializes in company law, law of evidence, corporate governance, and privatization law. And like I said, he became a senior advocate of Nigeria in September 2014. So he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, having spent 11 years wearing the silk as a senior advocate of Nigeria. After completing his primary and secondary education, he attended Kwara State Polytechnic Ilorin from 1982 to 1984. And he proceeded from there to the University of Jos in 1984 and stayed there from 1984 to 1987. I think at that time, people studied law for just 3 years or 4 years. Now it is 5 years. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1988. So Professor Amopiton is a senior lawyer, having been called to the Nigerian bar in 1988. He earned a master's degree in law from the University of Jos in 1993 and a PhD in law from the same university in 2007. Right? He went into the teaching service and has been teaching from that time till now. He began teaching in 1989. Okay, shortly after he was called to the Nigerian bar and has been teaching from that time till today. Currently, he serves as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration of the University of Jos, and he also serves as the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of Joseph Ayo Babalola University in Osun State. He has held a number of academic positions in the University of Jos, namely in 2012 to 2014, he served as chairman of the Committee of Deans and Directors of the University of Jos. From 2008 to 2014, he served as Dean of the Faculty of Law and Head of Public Law Department in the Faculty of Law of the University of Jos. He's a member of the Nigerian Institute of the Advanced Legal Studies and Governing Council, and he was a member of the Governing Council of Education from 2008 to 2014 and has held other positions. We understand that he's an author of numerous law books, having lectured law for many years. He also has written books that have been used by students in their research and also by practitioners. He's said to be without political affiliation. If you check the press release that has been published by Bayo Ononuga, Professor Joash is said to be without political affiliation. That is, he doesn't belong to any political party. He doesn't know anybody that is a member of a political party. He doesn't associate with it. He doesn't have any political interest. We do hope that this one is true. Nigerians are very interested in knowing and in being convinced that this very one is true, that Professor Asupitan does not have any political interest whatsoever. He is apolitical, and that is what we need from an INEC chairman. He is the first person from Kogi State to be nominated as INEC chairman. The very first person since the creation of the nation of Nigeria, since 1960, at independence till today. He's said to be the very first person from Kogi State that has been nominated for the office of chairman of INEC. Now, by law, that is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, his name is to be sent to the Senate for confirmation. If he's lucky to have his name confirmed, then he becomes the chairman of INEC. If petitions go to the National Assembly and the petitions are too weighty to the extent that he cannot be confirmed, okay, then he goes home without having the appointments that he has been nominated for. We understand that he's married and has 4 children. Now, what are the expectations of citizens of this country? What are the expectations from this gentleman? I asked the other time, do you think that the burden on his shoulders are light? These are his shoulders, literally. Do you think that the burden on his shoulders are light? They're not light. They're not light. The expectation today on who becomes the chairman of INEC is so high. This is the era of social media. This is the era of information. Anything that happens is circulated everywhere. Accountability is required from all angles. And as we build up to the 2027 election, I can tell you that the expectation on this man is so huge. But these are my own expectations from him. One, a rebranded INEC. I expect a rebranded INEC from him where promises in the guidelines are kept. The immediate past chairman of INEC promised a lot of things in the electoral guidelines and failed to keep them, one of which was electronic transmission of results from one point to another. He made it mandatory in the INEC guidelines. On the day of election, he failed. And he had no apology for Nigerian citizens. He just explained it away. And for me, that wasn't good enough. So, dear INEC chairman as nominated, we expect from you a rebranded INEC where promises and the guidelines are kept. Don't break the promises to Nigerian citizens. Don't take the Nigerian citizens for granted. Don't take us for granted. What you're going to use in running INEC is taxpayers' money, and when you are given the money, you are expected to do the proper things. So, when you bring out your guidelines, we want to see that you keep the promises in the guidelines, right? We need free and fair elections in this country. It's becoming embarrassing. Every election, complaints here and there and so on. Look at what's happening in Ghana. Ghana has gotten it right in the electoral system. The percentage of victory in the last 3-4 general elections in Ghana is 54, between 54 and 46. Okay? You see the victory margin. The victory margin is so closed. It's not as wide as we've been having in this country. So, Professor, we need free and fair elections during your term. Number 3, we need honest introduction of technology to the electoral system. Honest introduction. I'm saying honest introduction of technology to the electoral system. Don't deceive us with technology. Give us technology that you are very sure that is going to give us free and fair election. Introduce it. We cannot do without technology in the 21st century in our electoral system. So we need technology to be introduced into the electoral system, reduce so much of the paperwork that we've been having in the electoral system. Give us free election, give us honest introduction and application of technology into the electoral system. Number 4, declaration of winners and proper transmission of results from polling units to the next point, real time, so that those that win will be satisfied. Those that lose will also be satisfied that, oh, I did my best. I saw that the electoral process was very transparent, right? Finally, we need unquestionable integrity from you, Prof. So much is expected of you. So we need unquestionable integrity on your part. Money should not be a problem. The Nigerian people will pay you so much. INEC chairmen are not poor people. They are well paid. The budget for INEC is not small. And the chairman of INEC deserves better pay officially. Please, sir, don't look for any unofficial payment. I think Nigeria is not asking for much if you give us all of this. I wish you the very best as you appear before the Senate for screening. And dear Senate, do not ask him to take a bow. For too long, the Senate of this country has been asking people to take a bow as if they are tired of listening. Screen this man properly. You see what just happened with the certificate, scandal. Screen this gentleman properly. Be sure that he is qualified for the job, that he has academic credentials for the job, and also be sure that he has what it takes for him to give us free and fair election. If he doesn't have, please feel very comfortable to let him go so that another person can come and give us free election. But if he has all the credentials and we're so sure that he's going to give us free and fair election, credible election in this country as it is done in most other African countries and even outside Africa, so be it, confirm him and give him the mandate to give us what we truly expect. Once again, congratulations, Professor. So much is going to be given to you if you succeed through the screening, and so much is also expected of you from the Nigerian people. Many thanks always for watching.